Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have 29 of the Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs that I've made so far this year in 2025 on my channel, all together in a crafting marathon. To get started, the first theme is Sweetheart Cafe. This is the theme that I have done for my coffee bar this year, and I really love how it turned out. I also have a Paris themed Valentine's Day decor, love letter DIYs, and also Conversation Heart Valentine DIYs. For the first DIY, what I want to do is I want to DIY my coffee bar. If you've seen any of my coffee bar videos before, you've probably seen this sign many times. This is just a board sign that I got at the thrift store, and I think I've remade it like maybe a dozen times for different themes for my coffee bar. It's just a great wood board sign, and it fits perfectly on the shelves above my coffee bar. I have a DIY coffee bar in my house where I took a $12 cabinet that I got at Goodwill, and I converted a tiny wall next to my kitchen into a coffee bar, and I love to decorate it seasonally. Now, getting the vinyl off the sign was no big deal, but I've let the sign sit for a while, and I had Mod Podged on these cardboard lemons from the summer section at Dollar Tree, and I think I let it sit too long because it was hard to get this off. Getting it wet helped a little bit, but as you can see, it was on there. So what I did was I grabbed it, I went to my kitchen sink with a scraper from the Dollar Tree and like that sanding sponge you see there, got it really wet, and I was able to get it off, but it was a lot of effort. Lesson learned. I try not to attach things that would cause a lot of damage to this sign because I like to reuse it so much. But this was a blue sign before. I want to make it a pink sign for Valentine's Day, so I'm just going to cover the whole thing with some white acrylic paint to give me that blank canvas. I like to do that to cover anything that was on there before. And the only bad thing about the sign is the paint does kind of get in between the different boards, but I try to clear that up before any of the paint dries like that. But it's a great palette board sign, so that's why I like to reuse it. It's nice and heavy duty, and again, it fits perfectly on my coffee bar. So once I get a blank canvas, I can make this into anything. And I've actually done this with like paintings in my house that I didn't like anymore. I've went over them with white gesso and did a beach scene on them. You would never know they had red and orange flowers underneath. But you can do the same thing with white acrylic. I just put a couple coats on there until I get a nice white coat. And then this is the color of pink I'm using. It is a polished pink by Apple Barrel. And it is very pretty, I think, for Valentine's Day. The theme I want to do on this coffee bar is Sweetheart Cafe, like a coffee and bakery kind of theme. And I want to use like bright pinks and bright reds. I think that will look really pretty. And I'm also going to be doing a Valentine's Day tier tray today with the same kind of color scheme and theme. So I think that these DIYs are going to work really well together. Once I got it all pink, I want to add, of course, a Valentine's Day heart to it. This is just a Dollar Tree sign. I really like this sign because it looks like wood boards. It's red. Don't have to do anything to it, but attach it. Now, I thought if I used Dollar Tree thumbtacks, it would cause less damage than hot glue. So I just put a couple in the holes for the hanger. I'm also going to put one here at the bottom. These are from the Dollar Tree. These are the thumbtacks that come with the nails. They work great for stuff like this. Now for the lettering on here, I went to my Cricut Joy Extra, and I'm going to cut out some vinyl. I just used fonts that were already included in Cricut Design Space and a coffee cup, really easy. I will share the Cricut design file with you down below if I can. And I just cut it out on some smart vinyl. I love the Joy Extra because I can use the smart vinyl. The only thing I don't like about the Cricut smart vinyl is I tend to have to use the actual Cricut name brand transfer tape for this. Otherwise, I can't get like my paper transfer paper to stick to it. But you know what? I love not having to use a mat. It just makes cutting vinyl so much faster. So this is the transfer tape I'm going to use. It is the name brand, and I'm going to cut out a strip for each one. What I did is I had about 4 inches. They're 4-inch boards on the sign, and they're 12 inches wide. I had enough room for that. So I did 4 by 12-inch rectangles on Cricut Design Space and filled them up with Sweetheart and the word cafe. I've done like a Cupid's Bakery kind of theme before, and I really love that. That would be another great name for your coffee bar sign. But Sweetheart Cafe is a new one I thought would be fun. So I am just going ahead and removing the backing paper on this. Even with the Cricut brand, it is a little bit tricky. This is the permanent vinyl, and I don't know if I got the removable vinyl, if it would be a little bit less picky. It does weed really well, especially compared with some of the cheaper vinyl that I have used. So instead of hand painting it, I'm just using vinyl just because this is just for Valentine's Day. I can always peel this off and remake this sign because I'm sure I will. So I put Sweetheart here on the top line. I'm going to transfer that. If you fold it like that completely flat, you're going to have a lot more luck. And then cafe. I usually don't ever put anything on the bottom row of my coffee bar sign because I'll have stuff on my coffee bar shelf there and it would be kind of hidden anyway. And I want to make sure that you can read the sign really well. I wanted to add a cute little coffee cup there with a heart on it to go with my Valentine's Day coffee bar theme. I'm loving just the pink with the white writing, the bright red heart. I did think I needed some more of those thumbtacks though. That way I can kind of make the heart look studded all the way around. I don't necessarily want to cause more damage to the sign in the back though, because these aren't necessary. These are just decorative. So what I did is I just put them in the seams between the 2 boards. And I'm going to do that 2 on each side and then 1 in the very middle here to make it look intentional. Really cute, kind of basic, but I love this and I think this is going to be a great background. Here I hung it on the top of my coffee bar wall above one of my shelves. Now we're going to fill those shelves with fun Valentine's Day DIYs and finds. But first, if you're enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button. It always helps my videos do better here on YouTube. Okay, the next item is just one of these little soft pink coffee creamers from the Dollar Tree. They usually have writing on them, but you know what? It's so easy to remove. All you have to do is use some fingernail polish remover and you can have a blank little coffee creamer. And I think the coffee creamer will go great with the theme. Just needs a little touch of Valentine's Day. I'm going to use some Valentine's Day window clings that I got at the Dollar Tree and a little bit of Mod Podge to help it stick. And just very subtle. Again, I'm using lots of pinks and reds on this coffee bar and the tier tray that we're going to be doing today. And I think they just scream Valentine's Day. I love how everything turned out. For this one, I'm just going to put one of the little mini whisks and the little spoons from the Dollar Tree. They're like the red silicone material. And I think they'll look really cute in here and it'll go with like the bakery sweets theme that we're also going to be doing on this coffee bar. It's not all going to be about coffee. It's also going to be about baking and sweets. And this is how it looks on my shelf right there below our little Sweetheart Cafe sign. Lots of room here to decorate. I have 2 shelves we're going to decorate. The next item is this cute little sign I found at the Dollar Tree. It's like a little rotating sign. It says welcome to our home on one side. And I thought, you know what, this would be a really cute open, closed sign. I'm actually just going to do an open sign for my Sweetheart Cafe. So the frame itself is black. I didn't think that really went really well with my theme. So I'm just going to spray paint that white. Unfortunately, I had very little spray paint. I probably should have used the pink one there because I kind of ran out about halfway through, but I'll just finish it up with some ivory color and it did the trick. It brightened up the stand. Now for the sign itself, I am just going to go over one side. Doesn't matter which one. I chose this one and I am trying to cover up all of that black writing on there. So it's definitely going to require about 3 coats of white acrylic before I can go ahead and paint it what color I want it to be, which is bright red. This is just bright red acrylic. I'm going to go over this with a couple of coats too, because if you've ever painted red before, you know it definitely takes a couple coats to give you that bold red color. Since I did the sign for the coffee bar in pink, I thought this one would look really good in red. And then I wanted to say open. These are the Dollar Tree wood letters. I've had trouble finding these lately. And of course, they don't give you any extra vowels, but you know what? I have lots of F's that I can make into E's. And so that's what I did, just cutting down 2 letters and putting them together because I wanted to say open. And I really wish Dollar Tree would get these back in because all I can ever find are numbers. And I hardly ever use numbers. I use letters all the time. But I am just painting them with a makeup sponge and some white acrylic paint so they will pop against that bright red color. I want to do just a very kind of subtly themed Valentine's Day theme to this, but I want it to be like a cool little open sign that we can have for the Sweetheart Cafe. Just attaching them with a little bit of hot glue. That hot glue gun squirts out a lot of hot glue, maybe too much sometimes for like a smaller project like this. But I'm just trying to put just a couple dots on here. And this is my final piece to make that F and E. And there is a small crack. I like to kind of fill that in with just a little bit of spackle. And you can't even tell. Now, I didn't have any footage there, but what I did was I just went in with my white paint pen and I want to do a border all the way around this, kind of like what was on there before to kind of make it pop. I was trying to decide if I just wanted to do an outline like that. And then I decided, nah, I want to go all the way to the edges. And so that is what I did. I just went around all 4 sides with my white paint pen and painted that just to kind of give it a border and really accent that really cool shape that the sign is. I thought my paint pen was a little streaky though, so I did kind of go in and fill it in with some white acrylic, just using a small paintbrush to kind of stay where I wanted to go there. And I really love the red and white. Then I thought it needed a little heart for Valentine's Day. I'm going to use one of these pink wooden hearts from the Dollar Tree and just a dot of hot glue. We can put that on there. I think that's perfect. I'm going to pop that back on that stand. It rotates. If you wanted to do closed on the other side, you totally could. But my coffee bar is always open, so we're going to leave it like that. This is how it looks up on my top shelf. I think it's a good height going underneath the Sweetheart Cafe sign and definitely goes with like the cafe theme. The next item is a squishy toy I got at the toy aisle at Dollar Tree. It's a pink and white cake with strawberries. Normally I paint these, but I love this for Valentine's Day as is. I'm just going to display mine on a light pink candle holder that I also got from the Dollar Tree for a little mini cake stand. And we're going to put that there next to the open sign, and the top shelf is almost complete. I thought another dessert would be really cute, so I'm going to use one of these red ramekins, so like plastic dessert dishes, I guess, from the Dollar Tree. And from the kitchen aisle, they look like this. And one of their, I think these are new this year, the cupcake ornaments. I love these, and I'm going to be DIYing with these later on in today's video as well. I think they're so cute. It's a little small for this little ramekin dish, but I hot glue it in the middle, and I don't really want you to be able to see the glitter on this one. I want it to look like a big frosted dessert. So I'm just using some of the caulk mastic that's in one of these little tubes from the Dollar Tree, and it squirts out just like icing. Just a really easy way to do some faux icing. And I just covered up the glitter, but leaving all of the little faux candy sprinkles on top. There's even like little tiny hearts in there, so I think that's really cute. And it definitely goes with like the red, white, and pink color scheme. Then I'm going to take one of those wooden red hearts from the Dollar Tree, and since this is made out of styrofoam, I can just sit this down inside that little cupcake. It went in just fine, and we have a little Valentine's Day cake that we can sit here next to the little squishy toy cake, which I think looks so cute. And that is the top shelf of my coffee bar. I think it's really coming together. Now let's get started on the bottom one. I found this great letter board at the Dollar Tree the other day, and I thought this would be perfect for Valentine's Day. And I think this would be great for like a cafe because you could do a little message on there. I am going to remove the hanger though because I don't really have enough room to hang this with a nail. I'm actually going to hang it with some double-sided tape. The only thing I don't like about it is the blue boards to hold the letters. Doesn't go with my color scheme, but the pink heart on the back does. So I'm just taking some painter's tape, and it fit perfectly in between the spaces. And I had to do it between every single one, and I also have to do the sides as well. so that I can paint those a different color. For Valentine's Day, I wanted mine to be pink and red. So this is just bright red acrylic, and I'm using a makeup sponge to paint this. I probably should have painted it white first. It might have made the red pop a little bit because as you can see, it did make it a little bit darker, but that's okay. I want like all different colors of pink and red on the coffee bar today. And then I had to use a brush to kind of get the bottom and top and the side edges of it too. Being very careful painting this because I don't want to block any of the little lanes for the letters. So I still need to be able to slide the letters in. And I have a fun message I plan on putting on there that will totally go with our theme. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and remove all of the painter's tape. I actually did a pretty good job of taping it. Didn't have any bleeding at all. Now for the letters. These are not made out of wood. They're like a thick cardboard. And the weird thing about these is that they have like the letters on the front and the back, which worried me because I didn't think I would have enough letters to spell out what I wanted to spell out. But actually I did. So I thought I would put, instead of love you a lot, I thought I would put love you a latte to go with my a sweetheart cafe theme. I thought that would be funny. And so I don't really have room for a latte on the bottom, but I'm just going to do the word latte here. Just kind of going from the sides they're closer to and sliding these in. And I have plenty of room for latte. So on this line, I'm going to have U and the word A. Some of these were a little tight, but I guess that's good. It'll make them stay into place. You just have to try to get them in there straight if you can. And then I'll put the word love here on the top. And I love a good message board like this. You could also, I guess, put like food items that are offered at your cafe too. But really cute little Valentine's Day DIY with these. This wasn't a Valentine's Day find. It was actually in with just like the home stuff at the front of my Dollar Tree. But we made it a Valentine's Day DIY. And I'm going to attach it to the back wall above the bottom shelf. As you can see, I like to decorate this wall a lot with things for a fun background for this shelf. The other thing I'm going to use back there is one of these great pink, white, and red wood bead heart wreaths from the Dollar Tree. I don't have to do anything to it. It's perfect. I just hung it by a nail, kind of at a side like that, just to give it a little bit of personality. But that is some really fun decorations for the back of this shelf. Now, this is, you know how they have like the Valentine's Day trees? We've used the cupcake ornaments. They also have tree toppers. So I thought this would be fun to use just on its own. It's a cupcake. It says sweet, and I kind of like the little stand that it's on. I think it's a perfect size for a coffee bar or like tier tray decor. So I'm just going to put that right there on my shelf to get us started filling in this shelf for my coffee bar. The next DIY, I wanted to make it look like I had a little Valentine's Day latte. So I want to do a faux cup of latte. And this glass coffee cup that I got from Dollar Tree, I think is going to be perfect. All I did was remove the tag from the bottom. Get some of that Dollar Tree glitter out of there. If you shop at Dollar Tree, you know what I mean. And this is like a beachcomber beige color, I think it's called. It is just an acrylic paint. And I use one of those Dollar Tree stencil daubers to sponge the paint on the inside of the glass. That way it'll look like it is filled with this like milky coffee color. And I just want to go all over. I'm gonna not fill the cup up with anything. I don't want to mess up the paint, but I do want it to look like a full cup of latte. So that will make it look like it's full by being painted from the inside like that. Now, I need a top to go over it since I'm not going to put anything down in it. And I just need some cardboard. So I'm just going to use a soda box just for some cardboard. You can use whatever you have in your recycling bin. And I just put my coffee cup on there. I'm going to sketch out how big I want this. And it's basically going to be a lid for the coffee cup. So we can do like a faux coffee, add some whipped cream on top, and make it look like it is a full faux cup of coffee. So I just went ahead and cut that out. I am obviously not great at cutting circles, so I'm going to try to fix that a little bit. But once you get it on there, you can also cut it if you have any of the cardboard hanging over. And then I'm just going to add some hot glue around the rim. trying not to mess up my paint there on the inside, and just sit this right on top. A lot easier than trying to fill it up with something and wasting materials and stuff like that. Just something free from the recycling bin. And then I just cut off any excess, and now we can decorate the top of this. Again, I'm going to use some of this caulk mastic from the Dollar Tree. You could also mix some of their like hole filler spackling with white paint too, and put it in like a cake decorating icing bag. But this is easy peasy. It doesn't like necessarily get a lot of height, but I don't really need a lot of height for coffee. I just want it to look like it has like a fun whipped cream frosting on the top of this latte. So I just use a paintbrush to kind of spread it around the edges to make sure I seal it in between any crevices between the cardboard and the cup. And then I want most of it to be in the middle. And so I just fill that in, and I do it a couple of times. I only had like a partial bottle of this left, but I really didn't need a whole lot for this. I do want it to be taller in the middle like that and have that classic like little whipped cream swirl up there. But I also want it to kind of be clean here around the edges if I can. And we will add some Valentine's Day touches to this as well. I needed a little bit more height here. It did want to kind of settle on me. So I just tried to put some more there in the middle and just kind of swirl it together. For Valentine's Day fun, I'm going to put a little heart on the front of it. I'm going to use one of these red and pink ones again. That's going to go with my color scheme. Little window cling. And since this is glass, I don't even have to Mod Podge it. It will stick right on there, right on the front of the cup. And then I do want a little heart like here, like in the whipped cream. And I'm just going to use one of those wooden hearts and kind of stand it up in there like this. And we have a really cute little faux latte. It was really easy to make with just a couple of items from the Dollar Tree. And I think that's going to look really cute there next to our little cupcake. And it really makes me want that. It looks really good. And we are going to keep filling this up. The next item was pretty much already ready to go. This is a Valentine's decor I just got from the Dollar Tree. It says My Sweet, has a cupcake on the top. Has a lot of glitter on it though, and I haven't used a lot of glitter yet for any of these, so I'm going to tone it down with some matte finish Mod Podge. I'm also going to use that on the entire sign because these signs from the Dollar Tree are kind of glossy paper. They look a little bit cheap, but you can give them a nice matte finish with Mod Podge and make them look a little bit better. And again, I did want to tone down that glitter on the cupcake, but I think this is going to be great right here in the middle. Isn't that so cute? And I'm loving the reds and the pinks together. I think it's so fun for Valentine's Day. The next item is a little coffee lamp that I found at the Dollar Tree. It lights up, which is kind of cool, right? It's like one of these like little boxy things from the Dollar Tree. The only thing I don't like about it is the color. It's like a soft blue coffee cup, and I want this to be for Valentine's Day. So I wasn't sure if I'd be able to change the color on this, but let me show you how I did it. I'm just using a makeup sponge and some white acrylic paint and doing a very thin coat because I don't want any paint to pull up inside the handle of the coffee cup or like where coffee is cut out of the sides or the design on the top. So I just had to be patient and do thin coats until I cover most of the color in this project. Since I'm going to be painting it, I thought I probably need to paint everything to make it look good. This is the color I'm using. It is the pink polish from Apple Barrel, and I'm just going all over with a stencil dauber again, sponging that on where the coffee cup is and the tray underneath. And there'll also be like a little rim here, so I just switch to a smaller brush and try to get the cup drawn back in there. There's really no lines or anything to go with because I made everything white. And then I'm using that Beachcombers beige for the coffee itself. And I'm just going to use one of these little chunky brushes and kind of like sponge this on this area. I don't want to go too crazy. I don't want to mess up any of the white steam coming off of it or the pink coffee cup. But I think that's looking pretty good. I'm going to touch that up a little bit here around, and I do want to add some white too. For like a frothing white whipped cream or whatever on the top of it with that cool little heart design. In the top of it, I think that would look cute. So I just kind of paint where I think that would be on top of the coffee here, just with a white paintbrush. Trying not to mess up my cute little pink coffee cup. And I was so glad that I was able to change this because I've been wanting to use this for my coffee bar, and I think this looks really cute. Then I wanted to add a little bit of red to it, just to kind of sketch out where the coffee cup is. So I decided to outline mine with just a red paint pen. It's going to bring in that pink and red color, and it's just going to kind of define things a little bit more since I did have to paint everything. But it was actually not too bad to do, and I think it's really cool. I love any kind of project that lights up like this, and just an item from the Dollar Tree. It only cost $1.25. I'm going to put that right over here on this side of the coffee bar shelf. Now all I have to do is I always like to do like some kind of a pennant banner or something. And you know what? I thought I would make a garland with these cute little cupcakes from the Dollar Tree. I picked up some red ones and some pink ones, so I thought we could mix it up. Whenever I do like a garland or a pennant banner, I always like to do odd numbers. So I think 5 is going to work really well. And I'm going to alternate colors. So I'll do pink, red, pink, red, pink. So I cut down some twine, the exact width that I need to go on my bottom shelf of my coffee bar. And I just cut the ornament hangers. I'm going to use them just by tying those on. Whenever you tie an item onto a garland like this, it's great because you can always move them side to side if you need to rearrange them. And then I just cut off the excess ornament hanger on there. It is silver, which I'm not crazy about, but you can't really tell. Once you get it on there, I double knot it, and then I cut it off. And so I started in the middle so it'd be kind of centered and kind of worked my way out on both sides. I don't really want to put any nails or anything on my floating shelves above my coffee bar, but I just use a dot of hot glue on each side, and it tends to hold up pretty well for a cute little garland like this. How cute is that? It was so easy to do. And this is how it looks on my bottom shelf of my coffee bar. Super fun. I also went through my mug collection and got all my Valentine's Day Ray Dunn mugs, which I always love. I have a Be Mine, 2 Be Mines, I guess, hashtag love and a soulmate. So I think those will be fun to add to my coffee bar for Valentine's Day. But this is how that bottom shelf turned out. I think it's really cute. Some really fun, easy DIYs, some finds from the Dollar Tree. I love those cupcakes. I might have to buy more of those because they're just so fun to craft with. They'd be cute too if you wanted to do a Valentine's Day tree. And this was how the top shelf turned out of the coffee bar. I love the Sweetheart Cafe sign, the little desserts. The open sign I think is really cute and charming. And then let me show you how it all looks together. I got everything except for my coffee makers in this one, but I have coffee makers right underneath of it on my coffee bar. But I love the color scheme. I hope I gave you some fun crafting inspiration for a Valentine's Day coffee bar or any kind of decor in your kitchen. And this is how it all looks together. If you're enjoying today's video, don't forget to hit like, and I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe. We are almost to 40,000 subscribers. For the next Valentine's Day theme, we're going to do Love in Paris, where I took some French inspiration for some Valentine's Day DIYs. Lots of soft pinks and very romantic. For the first DIY, it's going to be a wall hanging that's inspired by French country. I'm using one of the Dollar Tree wood slat heart signs. I just removed the hanger, and even though I'm going to cover most of this heart, I am going to go ahead and paint it first because there'll be some areas like this, especially like those back parts, that you will be able to see. So I'm just going to distress the entire thing with some white acrylic paint. Just so you don't see the unfinished wood in the final project. What I was wanting this to look like is a little bit of a fencing. That's why I wanted the slatted wood heart, because I want to have some flowers like looking like they're growing through the fence. Now to cover it up, each one of the panels, I thought it would be fun to do burlap because that kind of has a garden vibe, right? So I wanted to do more like of a French country, but we're also going to be doing like a lot of Paris inspired DIYs as well. I just go ahead and cut some of the Dollar Tree burlap roll down to size, and using a generous amount of Mod Podge, I am just going to attach that to it. These pieces have a finished edge, and as you can see, it was the perfect width for this one. Now, these middle two sections are a little bit skinnier, so I do have to trim those down. I went ahead and put some Mod Podge down first. To put this one down using the finished edge, kind of lining it up, I do want there to be a gap in between the different wood slats so I can have the flowers coming through there. But as you can see, it's a little bit too wide. So I'm just going to trim off that excess. I don't know what's easier, cutting it after or before. I think probably cutting it before is a little bit easier, but I didn't really know exactly how wide I needed it to be, so I went ahead and cut it after. For this one, I decided to cut it before. I thought that might be easier, so I'm going to cut another burlap piece down to size, and using the scrap piece for reference, I'll know how much skinnier to make this one. Another reason I wanted to paint the sign white underneath is because there's still like holes in the burlap. You'll be able to see that great texture through with that contrasting color. So again, Mod Podge, I used a little too much this time, probably enough for both of these slats. And we're going to continue on with the burlap. I like to put it on first like this and then cut like the top and the bottom and the sides later, just so the burlap won't fray as much. And the Mod Podge helps to seal that before you cut it. So once I get it all on there, I just gave it a quick dry with my heat gun, and then I'm going to flip it over and cut off the excess burlap. I wanted to combine a couple Dollar Tree signs together today to make this fun sign. So I have this wood palette sign. That's a heart. I also have that cute little love sign that you see there that looks like a wood slice. That's also from Dollar Tree. I thought that was so cute and perfect for Valentine's Day. It was in with the home decor stuff. It wasn't specifically for Valentine's Day, which I find most of my Valentine's Day crafting items like in the home decor or the crafter square. They have a lot of things that say love and stuff like that that will work really well for Valentine's Day. Now I want to use a ribbon to kind of give a black and white stripe pattern to this one, and I found this great farmhouse ribbon at the Dollar Tree. I wish I had more. Sometimes when you find a great ribbon at the Dollar Tree, you really need to stock up because you might not ever see it again. I cut a piece long enough for each one of the panels. I kind of would have liked to have doubled them up, but I didn't have enough ribbon to do that. So I'm just going to do one on each panel, and I just put some hot glue on the back. And you know, when you think of a lot of like French decor, you think of like a black and white striped. I thought this farmhouse ribbon was a really fun take on that because you kind of get that subtle black and white vertical stripe, but it's also very country feeling with the French country and vibes on this DIY. So just putting hot glue on the back of all these. Again, I will go ahead and cut the top and the bottom after I get them all attached and glued down. That way I'll get a perfect cut and I won't have to worry about getting it on there just right or cutting it too short or something like that before. So this is coming along really nicely. I like to layer Dollar Tree signs because it's going to give you a thicker sign. It's going to make it feel more substantial because these Dollar Tree signs can be a little on the thin side. And as you can see, I have sleeves on crafting. It's been really cold in Florida the last couple nights. It was like in the 40s. And I couldn't find my space heater for my crafting area. I craft out in my garage. So this was a frosty DIY today. But I just went ahead and used the same hanger that came with the sign, just putting it back on. The burlap's easy to poke through. And then I want to attach this cute little love wood slice sign. I didn't really care for the bow and the greenery that was on there. It was a little bit too farmhouse. When I want to do more French country, I want to soften up the colors. To do that, I'm going to use a little bit of the lamb's ear from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to use some of the smaller pieces that are on the tops of these. Two of those I think will work well. It also has a hanger with wood beads on there, which I don't really need. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull that out as well. Removing the staple and removing the tag on the back so that I can glue this to the heart sign. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to be able to see it back there. So I just use a little hot glue on the sign itself and attach this middle part. You could also use like the love woodward from the Dollar Tree Crafter Square, or like maybe even the like little diamond-shaped wood box that says love that you can have flowers coming out of. There's lots of fun options if you can't find this exact sign. To attach it, I just use staples. Because that's what they did. It seemed to work well. I used one staple and I put the greenery in both. It seemed to hold it tight enough. And then for flowers, I picked up these little tiny pink flowers from the Dollar Tree the other day. They're called baby's breath, and I love them because they're really tiny. And a lot of times I need some tiny flowers to craft with. And the soft pink color of this is going to be the theme today. We're going to have lots of like soft pink colors. I think that's really romantic for Valentine's Day. Now, I want these flowers to look like they're coming through the fence, kind of like that, peeking out from behind. So I cut them into individual sections. Some have 2 flowers, some have 3. I decided to try to mix it up a little bit so it's not super symmetrical. I did 2 on top, 3 on bottom, 3 on top, 2 on bottom over on this side. And we're also going to have some coming in the middle in that slat as well. I don't really want to, I just want them kind of peeking through. So I need to attach them from the back side. That makes more sense. I just use some hot glue and hot glue this on the stems where they will peek through perfectly. So just doing that here on this bottom section. And I'm also going to do the same thing here, just kind of gluing it to wherever kind of makes sense. And I love these wood slat signs from the Dollar Tree for every season. I always think they're so fun to decorate. You can give them so much personality like this. I want one kind of coming up from the back like this too. So again, I just hot glue it. And this one wanted to kind of not stay upright where I need it to be because I'm going to be hanging out on the wall. So I just tacked it down with a little dot of hot glue on that one as well. And I have a little bit of room maybe to have a flower coming out in this section right here. So just gluing that to the back of that sign there. And then to cover up the staple in the front, I thought about doing a bow, but I decided to mix it up and just do flowers on that as well because I've already got a lot of ribbon on that sign. And I'm going to do like just an odd number of flowers here, like maybe one in the middle, a couple here on each side, just attaching those with hot glue. These do stay together pretty well. They have a little tab on the top and the bottom of the flower, so even though if you cut them really short like that, they stay well attached. This is how it turned out. Our little French country, a love sign for Valentine's Day. I think it's so charming and would look great with any Valentine's Day decor. Again, the theme today is like pink, soft, romantic, French theme for Valentine's Day, and I really love that theme. Super fun, and I had so much fun putting that one together. The next Valentine's Day DIY was really easy. I'm going to use this great frame that I got at the Dollar Tree the other day and this free printable that I designed, and I will share a link to the free printable in the description of today's video, so be sure to check that out. Now, this frame looks like wood, and I think it looks very French country vibe, but it's actually made out of plastic, which is kind of surprising, right? It doesn't even have glass. It kind of has like a plastic film for the front. The only thing I didn't like about it is there's this little plastic tab that they didn't cut great on each side of the picture frame. So I'm just trimming mine off with a razor blade. But otherwise, it looks like a white wood frame with a beaded pattern. I love that. For the Eiffel Tower image, I designed this great watercolor of the Eiffel Tower with a little heart on there. I printed mine out on cardstock just because I think it's easy to craft with. You could also do it with paper too. And it's a 4x6 frame, so I printed it out at 4x6, but my picture was a tiny bit too big. So I'm going to use the plastic film that was for the front of the frame as a guide to be able to cut this down just a little bit so it will fit. But I don't want a plastic shiny sheen on the front of it. I want it to be matte. So I put the cardstock first, and then I just used the plastic as a spacer to help fill up the frame and popped on the back. It's really cute as is. It really gives you that look of a white wood frame, and I love the wood beading around the edges. It looks like little wood beads. Mine were distressed pretty heavily, so some of the ones that were distressed a lot, I just kind of went over and distressed with some white acrylic just to brighten them up a little bit. I want them to look distressed, but I don't want them to look super dark. But otherwise, that's all there was to it. I told you that this was going to be an easy DIY. A very French we have with the Eiffel Tower. I love Paris. It's definitely one of my favorite cities I've ever visited. I would love to go back there again sometime soon. But I think it just screams romance. So I think this is a perfect Valentine's Day decor piece. And if you see one of those frames, be sure to pick it up. It was so cute. I'm going to have to get some more of those. I really love it. Okay, for the next DIY, I also found these new hearts from the Dollar Tree. I posted about these on social media the other day. I think they're so cute. They're little wood hearts that have like the distressed white beads on them. And I really thought they would look cute hung as a grouping. So I picked up 3 of them. I'm just going to remove the hangers from 2 of them because I won't need that. And I want to have backs on them, and I want them to be pink hearts, very soft pink hearts. So the only thing I could find at the Dollar Tree that was the color I liked was the Dollar Tree baby blankets in the soft pink color. You could also use like scrapbook paper or whatever you want to line the back of these if you want yours to be like a solid heart too. And I just laid the blanket on the back of it and used like a Sharpie to kind of sketch out exactly how big I need it to be. I don't want it to be so big that it's going to hang over the edges, but I want it to be wide enough that it will cover the heart. I can kind of stretch it taut, kind of give it a fabric appearance on the back of these. These baby blankets, I've crafted with these before. They're great felt material. They don't really fray at all, so they're really fun to use for crafting. I just used the first heart as a template to draw out 2 more because we're going to be doing 3. If you wanted to, you could use like 3 different colors of pink and do kind of an ombre effect. But I wanted very soft pink for all of these DIYs today. So I'm going to go ahead and use the baby blanket on all 3. But I did consider that. And again, I'm just cutting these out kind of roughly. Where I drew the Sharpie line on there, you won't be able to see any of that because it'll be hidden on the back of the heart. And I'm just going to attach them with hot glue on the back. This DIY was also really easy to do, and it turned out so cute. And it's a large wall hanging that covers like a large area of my wall. Be great like on a skinny area of a wall. I think I'm going to do it on the kind of skinnier wall I have next to my entryway when you first walk in for Valentine's Day. So I just put some hot glue all around, stretching it taut, kind of like a canvas on the back of it. Kind of a reverse kind of canvas look, and the heart is the frame. I thought this would be a fun way to add some color to these because I love that they're white and they're distressed already. Some of you guys were asking me if I plan to paint them or leave them, and I was like, I'm not sure yet, but you know what? I kind of like them just as is. The distress job they did on these is actually pretty good. So I just do the same thing on all 3 hearts. I did leave the hanger on one of them to hang the entire wall hanging. But I did remove the hanger, from the other 2 because it would get in the way when I go to tie them all together. I want them to look like they are hanging like from a ribbon of some sort. And I was thinking what I could use for that. I decided on the Dollar Tree burlap roll. Since I've already used that on a DIY today, it's going to help these French country crafts like really coordinate well together. I just glue it on the heart top here of the wood frame. And I only glue it on that, not necessarily on the fabric. I don't want to mess up the fabric by getting any hot glue on there that might be visible. And then I'm going to string it to the middle heart. And I want about 5 inches in between these. I think that's going to be a good spacing. And so just using my ruler for the first one, I can kind of measure 5 inches just so I can kind of get an idea on the spacing. Again, I hot glue it this time to the tip of the heart frame here. And I have to kind of cut these, as you can see, like in pointed shapes. That way you won't be able to see any of the burlap underneath the pink blanket. It's a little bit transparent. I'm also going to reinforce it with a staple on each one because the frame is nice and thick. You can use your staple gun and it's not going to come through or anything like that. And it's going to just reinforce this, make sure it stays together. I'm going to use the first one as a template to cut down my second piece of burlap roll, the same size. That way my spacing will be exactly the same. Again, just gluing it on with some hot glue to the top part of the heart frame. And the other part's going to go on the bottom of the heart with a hanger on the top. And again, I am reinforcing just with my staple gun to make it a little bit sturdier. I'm not going to add any other details or anything to this. I think it's perfect as is. Isn't that so charming? I love these frames. I found them in one of my larger Dollar Trees. I haven't been looking in my smaller ones just yet, but hopefully everybody gets them in. They're in with the home decor though, not necessarily Valentine's Day, but be sure to pick some up for your Valentine's Day crafting because I think they're really fun. What do you guys think about this one? As you can see, it's pretty large and a great wall hanging for Valentine's Day. For the next DIY, I found these great pink bottles. Now, mine had them in with like Valentine's decor, like on an end cap, but they kind of look like a home decor piece. It's a very soft pink color. I thought this would be really fun to make like an oil diffuser out of. It's so pretty. I thought it would be perfect for Valentine's Day. So I picked up some oil from the Dollar Tree. This is the warming oil, but it seemed like it was pretty close to just essential oil, which is what I needed for this. I chose peppermint. Peppermint's not always a fragrance that I use, but I'm going to have this in the kitchen. And you know what? Peppermint oil is great for keeping pests away. I've used it, I've sprayed it all over my garage to get rid of spiders. It worked really well for that. But anytime I can kind of repel pests and have something smell good, I'm going to go for that. So I just poured the entire bottle in, and then I just need to mix that with the carrier oil. I'm just using vegetable oil. You just want an oil that doesn't have any kind of scent, and then mix it well. I filled it up about a third of the way with the vegetable oil, and again, the entire bottle of the essential oils. For the Reed diffuser sticks, I had some of these that I picked up at Target. I'm not sure if Dollar Tree carries these. They might. You never know. And I'm just going to use as many as kind of makes sense for this size bottle. I think 5 or 6. I think 5 is what I ended up doing. And then I'm just going to finish it off with a little wood heart from the Dollar Tree Valentine's Day section. In pink, I just put a little dot of hot glue on there and add that to the front of the diffuser. Really easy and functional. Just be sure if you're going to make one of these, you want to rotate your reeds. So flip them over like every day for maximum effect. But I think this is just a fun DIY and a great use for these beautiful bottles from the Dollar Tree to kind of make it something functional by making an oil diffuser. And as you can see, it was really easy to do. You just need some essential oils and some carrier oils. For the next DIY, I wanted to do a French-inspired floral arrangement for Valentine's Day. I found this great milk jug at the Dollar Tree. It's like a milk jug vase. The thing I liked about it is that it's white and it had a little metal key on it. So I thought that would be really cute, like a little key to my heart kind of theme for Valentine's Day. And instead of roses, you could use pink roses for this. I found some great flowers that they say they're Easter, but they were in with my regular floral aisle at my Dollar Tree, with a soft pink and white stripe. And I thought that was a fun, subtle touch to the striped effect that, you see with French decor. And I'm also using some of this farmhouse ribbon from the Dollar Tree in a black and white stripe to tie around the vase to replace the black and white check that was on there. I don't have quite enough of this to make a bow, but I'm just going to kind of tie it, droop the bow down. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. I really want the key to be the star of the show on this one. And I love the milky white color of this vase. I think it's really pretty. These are the flowers. They're very soft pink, so that's why I went with these. I thought it'd be a little bit of a surprise other than roses, and I think they're really pretty. I think they look very French country. I'm going to go ahead and display them in the vase. It is a little too tall, so I'm just going to try to cut the stem, bend it up a little bit just to make it shorter, but it's very lightweight and the vase is very small, so I don't really have to put anything in there to arrange it. I can just kind of stand it in there like that and use the metal that's in there to kind of arrange them how I like, leaving it all attached. Another trick I like to do with Dollar Tree flowers is sometimes they can be a little wrinkled. If you go over them with a blow dryer or a heat gun like I do, they will come right out. You'll have some smooth looking flowers that look way better, especially for $1.25. You can't beat that. This is how it turned out. Really easy to do. A little French country inspired floral arrangement. I'm also going to be DIYing a tray today to display this with some other items that we're also going to DIY. As you can see, the key on there is made out of metal. It's really cute and it's kind of heart shaped. So I think it's just a subtle nod to Valentine's Day and really charming. I love the color of the flowers. Now for the next item for the tray that we're going to DIY, I found this great candle holder from the Dollar Tree that says love. It's got a little handle on there. And I thought we would DIY a candle using one of the soft pink tall glass candles from the Dollar Tree. I probably should have used 2. For some reason, I thought 1 was going to be enough. They never go as far as you think. I just put them in a pot of water on my stove that had been boiling, let that sit and melt. And I'm actually going to use the actual wick and everything that came from that candle once it melted. And I'm just going to use a little hot glue just to get me started so I can kind of center the wick. You can always get wick kits on Amazon as well, but if you can reuse the one that came in the candle, you might as well do it. To make sure that the wick doesn't fall down into the candle while it's setting up, I'm going to take a couple popsicle sticks and just attaching them together with some masking tape. I'm going to make a little hole there for the wick so it will stay up when I go ahead and pour in the wax. So I melted this entire soft pink candle down, pouring the whole thing in. Again, I probably could have got away with 2. You always need more than you think when you're working with candles and wax. I'm going to tape this, it'll stay in place, and set this aside to let the candle set up and harden. Now for the tray. This is the first time I found these from the Dollar Tree, these little trays. They're so cute. They're the perfect size for a little tray. They already have the feet on them. And the pattern on this one was actually not too bad. I didn't really want like a plaid though. I wanted something a little bit more greenery. So I'm going to show you how I DIY'd mine. First of all, I'm going to go over it with a couple of coats of white acrylic. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to be using that removable wallpaper from the Dollar Tree, which works great, but especially on a white pattern like that, that is not going to cover those black lines on there. You will be able to see it through. You don't think you will, but you will. I've had that happen to me before. So I just went over it with enough coats to cover up mainly the pattern. And then just using it as a stencil, I'm going to use a pencil to draw on the back of the removable wallpaper. I love crafting with the Dollar Tree removable wallpaper. This is one of the newer patterns that they have with the leaves. And I thought this looked great for like a garden, like a French garden kind of theme. Not something that screams Valentine's Day, but I think it's going to be a great backdrop for the candle that we just DIY'd and that floral arrangement. And I have another idea to add to this as well. It's not very big, but I think this is going to look really cute sitting in my kitchen for Valentine's Day. And I just go ahead and cut it out, peel and stick. Couldn't be any easier. I do want to make sure it's on there really smooth. So I just use like a Cricut scraper to kind of scrape it down. I got mine on there pretty good, but if you have any of the paper kind of coming over the edges, a sanding sponge, these are from the hardware section at the Dollar Tree, work great for removing any of the excess paper and cleaning it up a little bit. And how easy was that for a tray? You don't even have to attach the feet or anything. Just 2 items from the Dollar Tree. I think it looks so cute for spring. And after Valentine's Day, I could also use this for another spring display. I think it's just really pretty, very subtle, but be sure to look for those trays. I found mine in like the home decor section at my Dollar Tree. And that was the only pattern that I saw them in. I don't know if they come in any others. I probably should have picked up some more. I think that the floral arrangement's going to look great on there. I did set my candle aside so it would start to set up. Just going to cut off the excess wick, trying to make sure it's not too long. Let me show you how it turned out. See, I totally could have put a larger candle in there if I would have went ahead and melted 2 of them, but it's still cute and it says love. So it's perfect for Valentine's Day. Again, this is not a Valentine's Day item. This is something I found like in the candle holder aisle at Dollar Tree with the regular stuff, but it's perfect for Valentine's Day. Very cute, and I think this is going to look great with that floral arrangement on the tray that we DIY'd. So it's a little shorter, so I can kind of put that in the front. I also wanted to add a heart. I had this little soft pink wood heart. That was from a Target Dollar Spot like tier tray builder kit that I got a couple of years ago at Target. And then I also want to do a wood bead garland. I found one of these from Dollar Tree. I do want to do a small one, so I thought this would work perfect. It's already got the tassel on there, and I can use like the natural wood beads and mix in some Valentine's Day colors as well. Since we're doing this soft pink, I'm going to use some of their soft pink and white beads. I decided to do 2 natural, a pink, a white, and then keep repeating that pattern to fill this up. Just a small wood bead garland, something that's going to fit on the tray and adds a little bit of decor to it. And I love making these. I think they're so fun for tier trays and trays like this as well. To finish it off, I just loop the twine around and go through the last bead that I want on there. And that should hold it in place without anything else. And it's already got the tassel on there, so it's ready to go. I'm just going to kind of wrap that around the candle and the heart there in the front. I did think the tassel was a little longer than I wanted, so I did go in there and trim that up just a little bit to make it a little bit shorter. But I love how this tray turned out. Let me show you how it all looks together. We have those great striped flowers and that adorable little vase there with the key. Our pink love candle and the wood bead garland. And I finished off with that little heart and the cute little tray DIY. It was really fun to do, and I think it looks great together for Valentine's Day. Very romantic. For the next DIY, I picked up 3 of these longer board signs from the Dollar Tree, and I want to make like a wood slat sign to use one of their Eiffel Tower wall jumbo stickers on to do like a little French wall hanging. It comes like in 2 pieces like this that you have to put together, which is why I'm going to have 2 slats together so it'll be wide enough for the Eiffel Tower. The third sign is actually just going to be used to attach it all together. And so I'm choosing my 2 flattest pieces here for the bottom. And this one, I'm just going to hot glue to both. I thought that would make it really sturdy and I don't have to worry about popsicle sticks or anything like that. So I just put a lot of hot glue there on the back and glue it to the back. And it seemed to work really well to make a palette sign that way. So just pick up an extra one. Now for the color, I'm using this very soft pink color. Can't remember the name of it. I'll try to look it up and include it in the description. But again, I wanted soft pink to be at the basis of all of these French-inspired DIYs today. So I wanted the Eiffel Tower to have like a pink background. I want it to be a very thin coat of paint though. I want good coverage, but I'm going to distress this heavily to make it look vintage, French country style. So I just want it very soft pink. Now for the wall stickers, you have to be very careful when you're working with these because they do like to rip. I did rip the second half of this a tiny bit, but I was able to fix it. But just be very gentle when you're peeling them off because, again, they're just made out of sticker material. I'm going to try to get this aligned where I think it would make sense. It's not going to be necessarily centered because I still have to fit all the flowers there on the other side of the Eiffel Tower. I kind of wish that the flowers were separate. I could add them separately, but it's all one image. So this is the one I kind of ripped one of the flowers a little bit. So yes, be very gentle pulling those off. And I want to line this up, but I don't want to overlap it because I don't want there to be a ridge. So they are peel and stick, to use on your wall. So they're a little forgiving. If you get them on there wrong, you can peel them up and kind of rearrange those. And just removing any backing that might still be left in there. I had a little bit of overlap there. So I just pick it up and rearrange it. And I think that looks very pretty for Valentine's Day. There's also some other items on here I can use. I can use like je t'aime, which means I love you in French. I had French in high school and college, but I can't say that I can speak it at all. And I'm just going to peel and stick those kind of going down the side of the sign. I don't really have anything over here, so that makes sense. And that's very appropriate for Valentine's Day. They also had a heart on here, which I tried to use. I did think it was a little too big and colorful, though. I do replace it with something else. You'll see here in a minute. But I did try it with the heart that came with it. I didn't really like the navy on it. As you can see, there's navy on the Eiffel Tower and on the writing. And I'm also going to use one of their flowers. I'm going to distress everything a lot, though, so it'll tone down that navy for sure. I do want to seal it on to make sure it stays on and to take away some of the gloss off of it looking like a sticker. So I just use some matte finish Mod Podge from the Dollar Tree and go over everything. I want to go over all the parts of the stickers, all the part of the signs. It's going to help seal it on there, but it's also going to help tone down the shininess. I don't want this to be a shiny project. And if you can't tell, the Eiffel Tower and some of it is gold. And so I'm also going to be adding a gold heart to this as well. Now, I told you I was going to distress it heavily, and I did. So just using some white acrylic and a chunky brush. I just drag it over in one direction. I wanted this to look like an old painted sign. I use a baby wipe to remove some of the excess paint. And you can always add, you can always take off some of the distressing if you distress too heavily. I did want this to be a heavily distressed project though, so I do distress it here a couple of times until I get it the way that I like it. Now, for the heart, I'm going to use one of those little wooden hearts there from the Dollar Tree. I thought that'd be a more appropriate size. And I'm going to paint it gold with like a metallic gold acrylic paint, which I'm also going to distress a little bit so it'll kind of go with the vibe of the sign. But that'll go in with the other gold touches on the sign and be very cute. Just one little heart here to kind of go with the Valentine's Day theme. I just attach it with a dot of hot glue. The hangers, I left the hangers on the top of the sign. 2 of them are open, the 2 on the sides, and so I can still use those to hang the sign. It's just going to be a double wide sign. So I just string it from the back with some twine. I like to knot them on the front. I find that they hang a little bit better that way. And the same thing here on the other side. I do distress mine a little bit more with like a little bit of a sanding sponge. And I go back in with a little bit of paint. I also went in and cut my stickers here to be on the different slatted boards, just because I think it looks a little bit better when you do it like that. And this is how it turned out. If you didn't want to distress yours, I think it would be really pretty as well. But I was going for, you know, that French country kind of inspired Valentine's Day. So I did distress mine pretty heavily, but I love how it turned out. I think it's so pretty. And a nice fun wall hanging to go with the French inspired Valentine's Day. Now, the next DIY is going to be super simple. Look at this beautiful candy dish I found at Dollar Tree for $1.25. It's got a soft pink ceramic heart on the top. Perfect for a candy dish for Valentine's Day, and it's going to go great with the soft pink colors. I also found some of this heart ribbon from the Dollar Tree that has little hearts on it on the top and the bottom. That's also that soft pink color. I think that's going to look really cute. And I am just going to attach that with a drop of hot glue here. And just to decorate the top part to bring a little Valentine's Day decor to the jar itself. The lid is perfect. I don't have to do anything to it. And that is it. This is ready to fill with candy. I picked up some Hershey Kisses and Hugs from Target. And I think these will be perfect because the hugs are like a light pink and white wrapping, and the kisses are like the traditional like silver foil. And I'm just going to simply fill up this candy jar and display this in my kitchen for Valentine's Day. Such an easy DIY. These jars are great. I think they come in a couple different color lids, but I really love the soft pink color of this one. Isn't that so cute and so easy to do? Let me show you how it turned out. You could add some more colors to the top of the jar, but I really liked the ceramic finish of it. So I think the addition of just the heart ribbon there added a little bit more fun to it. You could also tie a ribbon around it. It'd be really cute too. But a super easy DIY, right? And this is how some of those French country inspired Valentine's Day items look together, the things that are not hanging, as you can kind of see the vibe that goes along with all of them. Okay, switching up Valentine's Day themes again. This one's going to be a love letter theme. This is the wreath that I DIY'd for my door for Valentine's Day this year. Hope you enjoy. I'm going to use one of these square wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. They are 14 by 14 inches, and they are arched a little bit, but I want mine to be more flat. So I'm trying to push down like the middle bar and try to flatten it a little bit. I want to see if I can make this look like a love letter. I had this idea. I thought it would be really fun to try. Now, before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and make a hanger out of just some twine, just tying it here on the middle bar, just so I won't have to try to add that later. And I want to make it look like a open envelope. So I want something that's going to go up at the top that makes it look like the envelope's open, and something that will make it stay open. So I'm going to use one of the flexible cutting mats from the Dollar Tree. It's just the right size to have it kind of on its side like that. So I just kind of measure it and cut it down. I am going to be using a fun material for the inside of the love letter envelope, but I think that this is going to make it stand up for the wreath since it's going to be kind of like defying gravity hanging on the door. I just trim it down until it is the perfect size. And this is what I'm going to use for the inside of the envelope. It is a placemat from the Dollar Tree, probably for leftover from Christmas or New Year's, but it's gold and it's glittery and I love it. I guess you could always use scrapbook paper too if you wanted like a glittery background. I know they have a lot of those at Dollar Tree, depending on what color scheme you want. I really liked the gold for this. I thought that'd be really fun. I just lay the cutting mat that I cut down to size onto it so I can go ahead and cut it down. These are made out of that rubbery placemat material, so super easy to cut. And I just left the bottom round edge on it like that because I do need kind of a back to the envelope, because what I want to do is I want to make it look like an open love letter that I can actually put things down inside of. So I kind of want to make a pocket. Now, to attach them together, I was afraid hot glue might melt the placemat, so I decided to use the Dollar Tree's tacky glue. I just went all over with a good coating on the back. The only problem with doing it this way is it did take a while to dry. That step, another glue might have been a little bit faster, but I think it'll be sturdy for a wreath form for my front porch. So this is what it's going to do. It's going to be an open envelope, so it'll be sticking out of the top of the square wreath form. To attach it, I'm just using hot glue on the top of the frame. I do craft on a silicone mat, so it makes it really easy to do this project. Otherwise, you might need to kind of flip it over first to be able to DIY it. But I wanted to try to get it glued on there as well as I could. And let me show you, if you don't have a silicone mat, it is like the greatest for crafting. I do have mine linked in my Amazon shop in the description below. You will love it if you haven't tried one. Now, I did think it probably needs a little bit more reinforcing, so I'm also going to add some duct tape back here. Doesn't really matter. You're not going to be able to see it back here, but I thought that would make it a little bit stronger. I don't want that part of the envelope falling off because it's kind of important, the very top of it, right? Now, these are the materials we're going to use to make the envelope. I found this great, like, red crushed velvet fabric at the Dollar Tree, and the reason I chose this one is that it's large enough to cover a 14 by 14 wreath form. A lot of times these special fabrics at the Dollar Tree are only about 12 inches wide, but this is going to work perfectly. I do need to make a cutout though to make it look like the envelope is open. So I'm going to take the other flexible cutting board that I have there and kind of do kind of reverse of what I did before so I can have the envelope be open. Just trying to make sure I know exactly where I want that to be on the fabric. So I kind of saved the spot and I just decided to cut a hole in there so I kind of wouldn't get lost on that spot while I go to cut this out. Again, I'm just using that cutting board. It's got the great rounded corners on it like an envelope would have, so I thought that would work out well. I lay that on the back of the fabric and I'm just using a Sharpie, kind of sketch that out so I will know exactly where to cut this one down. I want to go ahead and cut it down first because I want to trim it out so it doesn't have like an edge on it like this that's, you know, kind of roughly cut. And it's going to be easier to add the trim before I add it to the wreath form itself. So that looks pretty good. I can have excess material everywhere else. This is the lace trim that I got at the Dollar Tree to trim this out. I really wanted something white, and I think this is going to be perfect. I guess you could also use like macrame cord or rope or something like that too, but I was going fancy with this love letter wreath, so I thought that this would make it look a little bit fancy too. I'm just going to attach it here to the opening of the envelope just to make it pretty and to close up, you know, that rough edge. I just go ahead and cut it down to size. I'm also going to be using the same lace ribbon for the bottom part of the envelope to kind of map it out a little bit to make it look like an envelope. Ideally, if I had a rectangle wreath form, that would be the best, but all Dollar Tree has is a square, but we're going to make it work. I do the same thing here on the other side, just going ahead and hot gluing those first. It kind of looks like I'm making clothes. It's kind of like a V-neck, right? So let's try this on our envelope wreath. I want to lay it on like this to make it look like the envelope is open. Kind of have the corners match up to the corners up here. I decided to tack them in place so that I would remember exactly where they need to be when I go ahead and kind of attach everything else. And I want to do it like that, where it actually has an envelope pocket that I can fill with things for Valentine's Day decor. So to attach it, I'm going to be kind of careful, but what I'm doing is I'm going to hot glue it to the wire wreath form, but I made sure to only use a little bit of hot glue. I don't want that soaking through the fabric on the front of the envelope because you might be able to see that. You know how hot glue can look kind of crusty on the fabric. So I did use more hot glue at the top where I had the other things there to glue it to. On this side, I had a little bit excess fabric, not much, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to glue it to the cage, kind of pulling it taut for the fabric, and also doing it up here at the very top. And I kind of had my corners tacked in place. I do want to remove any excess material, though, so you won't be able to see any of that, and kind of tack down the ribbon to pull the corners taut. That part is really important, so you don't have like sagging of your fabric there. For the bottom, I did not have really a lot of excess fabric. I'm just going to glue it to itself here to kind of make some square corners. And I'm just going to simply fold it up and glue it to the cage, trying to pull it taut as I can go. As you can see, mine did have a little bit of wiggle room with it, but it was pretty forgiving. Now, I didn't really like how flat the wreath was looking. I decided I wanted to look a little bit more 3D. So I'm just going to slightly stuff mine with some polyfill. So just using small pieces, I just start kind of scattering them all over the inside of our pocket there. And so it'll stick out a little bit and it'll make it make more sense. I'm just trying not to use too much. I don't want it to look like a stuffed envelope, perhaps. I just want it to look a little bit fuller. But then I kind of forgot that it didn't have a back down here on the bottom of the wreath. So that's okay. We'll just give it a back. And I had that extra cutting board from the Dollar Tree. That is just the perfect size. I don't have to cut it or anything. I just put hot glue around all four sides and glue it on there. It glued everything together, gave me kind of a finished back. If you want yours to be pretty on the back, you could always cover that with a material too if you don't want to be able to see through that. I think it's fine just as is. And then again, I'm going to use that same ribbon to kind of map out the rest of the envelope. I don't have enough of it to go around all the edges, like the outside edges. That would be pretty if you do. But actually, I don't even think it was really necessary. I think it looks fine just like this. So I just glue it from one corner to the middle section that we cut down. Flip it over and do the same thing over here, just using hot glue to attach it to that beautiful like crushed velvet material. I think that's so lush and pretty. And if you leave a little bit excess on there, it's good because you can kind of tuck it underneath with some hot glue. I was trying to see if I had enough stuffing. Maybe I need a little bit more here just to make it kind of even and full. And we can go ahead and start filling this. I wanted to have like greenery and fun things for Valentine's Day that would come out of a Valentine's Day wreath. And I found these great like white glitter heart picks from the Dollar Tree that have baby's breath on them. I think they're perfect. They have a total of 5 hearts. And so I'm just going to sit that down inside the little envelope that we created. And then I thought, since I used that red plush fabric, that these little felt flowers from the Dollar Tree, the red roses, would be so pretty. So they come in 2 different sizes. I'm just going to kind of stagger them like that. I think 5 is going to be enough. And then I thought that I would add some more baby's breath because the little heart picks had baby's breath, but they didn't have very much. So I do have a sprig of baby's breath from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to add that as well for the greenery. I mean, not a lot of greenery, just the leaves that are on the baby's breath and the hearts. And then there's like the greenery on the felt flowers as well. I'm just cutting these into individual pieces, kind of scattering them around. I think I may have used this baby's breath for something else because it wasn't super full. But I think that looks really pretty. And the white sparkly hearts, I do want them to kind of stay in place. So I just tacked down 2 of them with some hot glue. And then we're going to kind of intermingle the little red felt roses in between. I just use hot glue to attach those down. I guess you could always use red roses for this as well if you had some smaller ones to DIY with. And then just glue them all down. I think that looks really pretty. Now for the message on the inside of the envelope, like when you open an envelope, I wanted mine to have a message. And I found this great love iron-on at Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. It's so much bling. It's like white pearls, so pretty, and it's the perfect size. I'm just going to use hot glue to attach mine and put it right here on the inside of the envelope. Then for a seal for the envelope, I found these great ornaments at the Dollar Tree. I thought these would be perfect. They say from Cupid mail delivery, and they have a little Cupid on them, and it's just the right size for a little seal like you would see on the outside of an envelope. I'm just going to cut off the hanger on that and attach it right where all of the ribbon comes together. It'll kind of clean up that part of it as well. I attach it with some hot glue, and the only thing I didn't like about it is it's not near as blinged out as the love that we added to the top. So I decided to bling mine out a little bit. I had some of the little white pearl stickers from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use hot glue instead of just using the stickers themselves. So make sure it stays on. Since this is going on my front door, those stickers aren't real strong on their own. So I just used a little hot glue and went around the very border so you could still read it, but it added a little bit of bling to the seal to kind of make it go with everything else, because everything is so opulent and fancy on this love letter wreath. And this is how it turned out. I was so happy with it. I love seeing a good idea come to fruition. It is so sparkly and pretty. Let me give you a little bit of a closer look of how it turned out. I love the red and white colors for Valentine's Day, and the gold glitter on the back of the envelope gives it a nice contrast. And I think it turned out pretty good, even though it's a square shape instead of a rectangle. And you really can't get appreciation for how sparkly this is. So I wanted to give you a little video footage of how sparkly that glitter placemat is from the Dollar Tree. So pretty. Now the next theme is going to be candy hearts, or the little conversation heart candies. All these DIYs are going to feature them. So for the first DIY, we're going to use one of these new wood hearts from the Dollar Tree. They are the wood bead hearts, and I love them. I keep finding these at the store, and every time I want to grab one. And I was so excited I was able to find the Sweet Hearts brand of the candy hearts this year. These taste the best, in my opinion. Last year, I was only able to find the Brocs, so it looks like these things are back. I find that the writing on these is a little bit better than the Brocs, especially for decorating. But what I'm doing is I'm making sure that each one does have words on it, that it's not completely cut off. You can make out what it says. And I'm just hot gluing them to the wood dots. So they have like a little slight distress on each one of the wood beads there. I'm just covering that up with the candy heart. At first I thought about doing like a pattern of the colors, but then I decided that I like it more random better. There's quite a few different colors. So it's just finding one in the right color that has words on it that you can read. I did get a bellyache because, I had to dispose of the ones that didn't have any writing on them. But this DIY was so easy and fun to do. And if you wanted to do like 3 of these hanging, that would be really cute too. I did that with these wood hearts in my like French or Paris themed Valentine's Day DIY video, and they're so cute. I love the way they're painted and everything. Once I cover the entire heart with the conversation hearts, just using hot glue, I want to seal them now. I'm using Rust-Oleum matte finish because I don't want it to be shiny, but I do want it to be sealed so that the candy is sealed and decorative and not candy that's going to attract bugs or anything like that. It also made the words way easier to read, so I just sprayed it with 1 coat of that. It did make it bolder, but it did dry a little bit more pastel. The final touch would be a little pink bow. I got this pink ribbon, I think it's actually Easter ribbon, at the Dollar Tree. Some of my stores are starting to get Easter out just a little bit, and I'm just going to tie just a very simple bow. It's really pretty. It's like a light pink, but it's got like a little bit of a gold trim on it. And I just tie a simple bow and cut off the tails so they'll be the same. And I'm going to put that right here in the middle of the heart just to dress up the heart a little bit. A little hot glue right there on that very tip of the heart should do it. And this was such a fun DIY. It's not very large, so you could really hang this just about anywhere. And if you wanted to kind of lean it up against something and not use the built-in hanger on the back, you could totally do that as well. But I think I'm going to hang mine up. This is how it turned out. It's so cute. Using those little conversation hearts to decorate is just one of my favorite things. I have 6 all new Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs, and then I also did 6 DIYs last year that I'm also going to include in this video. Same theme, they all look great together. I've also done a tier tray in this theme as well. For the next DIY, I want to make a giant sweet tarts like candy hearts box. Now to do that, I thought the easiest thing would be just to use some gift boxes. I picked these up at Target. The size on these is 14.75 by 9.5 by 1.88 inches. Just because the ones at the Dollar Tree were a little too small that I could find. And I want to cover it with vinyl was my plan. So I'm going to start off with some white vinyl on my Cricut, and I'm going to cut out a design, and I will share the printable with you guys that I made for this. Now, you could also use a cereal box or something like that if you had that in your recycling. I decided to use the gift box just because I won't have to paint the sides or the box or anything like that. And what I plan to do is to cover it with this vinyl from the Dollar Tree. I like crafting with this stuff. I don't like using it on my Cricut machine because it sticks to my mat way too much. But it is very sticky. You kind of only get one chance on this. So I don't know if it's easier to do paint or vinyl, but I did use vinyl for most of my box. I just line it up upside down like this because I only get one chance. Once this paper sticks to that box, it's stuck. And I just lined it up where half of it's going to be covered in red like that and smooth that out. The only problem that I had using the vinyl for this is the fact that it doesn't layer really well. I don't know if it's the combinations of different kinds of vinyl that I used or just doing that many layers of vinyl in general, but I did have a little issue with that with some bubbling. The first layer went on very smoothly though. This Cricut vinyl from the Dollar Tree right now is like 50 cents. So it's a great bargain. So they have lots of fun colors like this. And the box on the Sweethearts box, the traditional box, is red at the top and pink on the bottom. So that's what I'm trying to recreate. So I cut out another piece. I wanted to lay it on like that because that was easier, but I need to line it up just perfectly. So I'm going to have to be really careful and try to only get it attached where I want it. Because again, I tried this a couple of times to try to get it on there smoothly and not tear the box. So I got this on there pretty good. There's a slight overlap, but that's okay. It's better than having a gap, I guess. And then again, just cut off my excess vinyl using my little rotary tool. I got one of those from Dollar Tree the other day as well. I need to try out. And it does a great job cutting like this in areas where you can't really get scissors in there. Now I cut out the white vinyl in a design that has like the white heart part of the Sweethearts box and also like the Sweethearts logo that I was able to find online. And I cut that all out in white. So I also cut out the white heart right where the box is going to need a cutout for the candy. I just weeded that out. I also cut out some red vinyl in the heart that goes on the insides pattern. I did have some issues using that one. You'll see here in a minute, but I was able to solve it. But that's what this one is. So this is part of the cut file as well. I might share them separately. I'll have to look at how I have it designed, but I will include that in the description of today's video if you want to try to recreate. But that is the red heart part of it. My Cricut red was a lot bolder than my Dollar Tree red, but it's no big deal. For the Sweethearts, I just did a very traditional box. I'm not going to do extra details on here. I'm just doing the word and the hearts and the cutout and the candy inside. So I just put the white vinyl there on the top. And then the heart I made big enough so it would almost overlap the edges because that's the way it looks like on those boxes with some white vinyl. That's when I first experienced some bubbling from layering the vinyl. It did get worse though when I added the red to it. But the white I was able to use. Now I'm able to go ahead and now start cutting it out. I'm just using my razor blade to go right where the white is. I'm not too worried about messing anything up here because the red heart's going to go here to kind of cover up this area, but I need a window for the candy to show through. So the sides of this are not long enough to interfere with that cut, and so it worked out pretty well just using a cutting mat and my razor blade to cut that out. And I think that looks pretty good. And now it's time to add the red heart, and so I'm just trying to line that up and add the vinyl. This one really bubbled, and I didn't really like it. I tried to get it out. I tried scraping it. I tried heat on it, and I just don't think it looks very good. So what I end up doing after trimming it up here a little bit, because I don't want to be able to see any of the other color through here, is I just went ahead and removed it and used paint instead, just because I didn't want to cut any more vinyl. And I figured that if this bubbled so bad, probably from the third layer of vinyl, that it was probably going to do it again. I think that maybe if you used HTV instead of vinyl, you might not have that problem. It might go on smoother, but I thought it was obvious, the bubbling, so I'm just going to go ahead and peel that one off. I thought it would be easy enough to do the inside red heart with some paint. So I'm just using a paint pen, and I'm using the heart for reference, the cutout, and trying to line out the red heart. Just using like my Posca paint pen, I'm going to go ahead and start filling that in. I will have to go back with some acrylic just so it's not so choppy, the paint job on this. But this was such a fun DIY. This would be a really fun DIY for a Valentine's Day party. If you had little ones, I'm going to use it as part of my decor because I think it's just really a fun idea. And so once I got it on there with the paint pen, it looked pretty good. I'm going to go in and try to make it look better with just some bright red acrylic. So it's just trying to use some smooth strokes here so it's not super obvious that I had to switch to painting. It does kind of give it more of a handmade feel with the painting. How would you guys do it? You'll have to let me know in the comments below. Would you paint or use vinyl on this? I mean, I think the red and the pink turned out really good for the top and bottom because it looks very professional. And of course the sweethearts, there's no way I'm going to be able to freehand that properly. And now for the window, I decided to use one of these acrylic sheets from the Dollar Tree. These are new. They have them in like 8x10, 5x7, 4x6, maybe even 3.5x5. This is the 8x10 size. I'm going to put that on the inside of the box. That way I'll have something clear yet sturdy to be able to put the conversation hearts on. It's like kind of sticking to the window to make it look like it's full of conversation hearts. You could also use glass for this, but then it's going to be a little bit more fragile. So I thought this was a fun application for the acrylic. For the candy hearts, I picked up some of these eraser hearts from the Dollar Tree. I think these are school supplies. I got them next to the checkout, but I thought they'd be the perfect size. And they have a design on them, but they are white and plain on the back. So I thought they would be easy enough to paint and look like conversation hearts. And they're just like about the right size scale for this. Also, they have the right shape. Like they're a little bit chunky like this. So I just picked out like some of my lightest pastel colors. I did like a soft pink polish. I did, I think this sunbright yellow maybe, lake blue, and like a lavender. There's other colors that you could do as well. Like you could do like a light green. There's a white one, I think. There's a lot of different pastel colors, but as long as you get pastel, I think it's good. I'm just sponging mine on. Now, the eraser doesn't paint well. It kind of gives it a chalky finish, which is actually good because that's what the conversation hearts actually look like. They don't paint real bold. They would be chalky because that's just the consistency of the candy. So I just sponged those on, one coat on top and one coat on the side in case you can see the side at all. Then once I got those dry, I went back in with one more coat on the top, just using little makeup sponges for that, and it worked out really well. For the writing, I'm just going to use a red Sharpie. I think that's going to be good. It won't bleed too much, and it's small enough for me able to write on here. So I just started writing like traditional phrases on here. Like this one says, "Be mine." I went to ChatGPT and I'm like, tell me what's on conversation hearts typically. And it gave me lots of ideas. So I want them all to be different. And this one says, "Love you." And I'm going to continue that for the other ones. I think 8 is going to be plenty. 2 packages to fill in that window to kind of make it look like it's full of conversation hearts. So we have Hug Me, we have Kiss Me. I'm telling you, I ate so many of these yesterday while I was DIYing these. Probably not good for my New Year diet, right? Call Me, we'll do True Love on this one. And I still have the lavender ones. I'll do the traditional XOXO. And how about Text Me? And I think they turned out really cute. Now, the only way I could think of to attach them to the window is hot glue. The problem is that you can see the hot glue. It's not super obvious, but I thought if I Mod Podged that on there, they were just going to fall off. But I don't know. If the hot glue spot bothers you, you might want to use a different kind of adhesive. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if school glue would have been better. I just tried to not get a lot of stringing with my hot glue and just do simple dots, just scattering these all over, kind of going every which way, but where you'll be able to see them from outside. And I think it is definitely sturdier with a hot glue attaching them, but again, you can kind of see the glue dot. I have not perfected that. But that is what it looks like so far. I think it's so cute. I thought about covering the sides of the box with the vinyl as well, but the project was a little bit challenging, and so I was kind of done with it by the time I got to this point. Now, I do want it to stand up on its own, and so I do need to weigh down the bottom of the box. I just took some Dollar Tree stones right here in the bottom just to weigh it down so it doesn't tip over because it's just an empty box. And I am going to go ahead and put the lid back on it. I guess you could fill it with candy hearts too and give it as a gift. That looks really good. I'm just going to trim up my vinyl here so it doesn't overlap the edges and it stands up on its own. And I think it's so cute. Let me show you how it turned out. Here it is, our little giant Sweet Hearts box full of candy. Isn't it so cute? And it's pretty large too. I think it's going to look really fun with my Valentine holiday decor. And you could also use, the gift boxes from Dollar Tree to make a little bit smaller version. At least my store only had the smaller ones. For the next candy heart DIY, we're going to make a candy heart candle. So I picked up a candle holder and a candle stand from the Dollar Tree and also some of the jarred candles like this. The reason why is because you're not really supposed to mix the candy hearts in with your candle. Anything that's not flammable, that's not really supposed to be burned, really shouldn't, unless it's going to be like a base or something like that. And I do another larger version of a candy heart candle later on in today's video. I do want the candle holder to stay on the candlestick. I picked up this soft pink one from the Dollar Tree. I thought that'd be perfect for Valentine's Day, but really any of their pastels would work. They have like a minty green blue one that's really pretty too. And I attached that just with some hot glue, and I had to put a little bit of a base of the conversation hearts first because my candle wasn't tall enough to go all the way to the top. The only challenging part was trying to get it level like that so that I can go ahead and fill in the sides. So this will make it look like a candy heart candle, but I can still burn it. So I thought this would work out well. The only challenging part was trying to get the candy in here. I did kind of put them in one at a time because I want you to be able to read the words from the outside. I don't want them all to be flipped over. And I also want to keep the candle relatively centered. That was a little tricky on this one as well. But it worked out, and it was an easy way to do this. Again, I have a large version of a conversation heart candle later on in today's video. I like both of them. I think they're going to look really good together as a set. But I got it filled. I went all the way to the top. I don't want to overlap the top of the candle so I can burn it. But this is how it looks. A little conversation heart candle. Really easy to do. A lot of those words are kind of hard to see because these are kind of my leftover ones. See, I didn't eat them all. But I don't think it really matters on the candle application for this, just when you're like applying them to DIYs that we do a lot of today. But since this is a candle, I always like to show you what it looks like lit as well. And I like the fact that it can light this. I guess if you didn't want to use like a jarred candle inside, you could always use like a battery operated candle as well. That would be a safe way to do this, but just a really fun idea for Valentine's Day. And I love how all the pastel colors go together, and I think it looks really pretty lit up. For the next Valentine's Day DIY, I picked up one of these frames from the Dollar Tree. This is the wood bead frame. I love these. They have them in like 4x4 and 5x7 I saw. And they're wood and they have a wood bead on them. So I think they're so pretty. I'm going to paint mine because I really like white together with the conversation hearts because the pastels and the white just really work well together for a color scheme. So I'm going to paint mine just a white color with acrylic. You could leave it just the wood if you wanted, or they have a white bead frame that I used in my Paris Valentine's Day video that is plastic instead of wood, but it's already this color, so you could use that as well. And you could put a picture of your loved one in on this. I actually designed a watercolor printable of a conversation heart that I will include the free printable for you down in the description of today's video if you'd like to recreate. Or, of course, you can put a picture of your Valentine in there. Now, I did notice there was lots of space around the wood beads on these, so I did go in here with a second coat of white, making sure that I filled in all the gaps. I just think it made it look a little bit better, and I want it to all be the same color, not really have any of that wood finish come through. But I want to cover the frame with conversation hearts. I thought that would be another fun way to craft. A frame is always great because it's just like seashells. It just makes a great thing to decorate. So more sweethearts. I found these bagged sweethearts like this at Target. I could find them at the Dollar Tree and I think the Brock's, but they were the little tiny boxes and I needed tons of these for crafting today. So I liked them by the bag and they were on sale right now. I think buy one, get one half off at my Target. And they had plenty of them. I was so excited to find this brand though. They do definitely taste better. So I started at the top, but then I went to the bottom to make sure that I was able to space these out properly. The side worked out really well. Perfect amount of hearts to cover it with no real gaps at all. The bottom did have a slight gap over on the left-hand side, so I probably should have went end to end like I did on the first one, but that's okay. And just like previous DIYs, I am alternating different colors, making sure that they all have a design on there that you can actually read. And we're just going to fill in this outer part. At first, I thought maybe I was going to do the outer part, and there's actually room to do the inner part of this sign as well. But I decided that it looked so cute with just the outer part with the conversation hearts that I stopped right there. See, there is a slight gap there on the left. My perfectionist heart hated that, but in the end, I think it's okay. So it might be best to do like I started, going on one end, going on the other end, or you could lay all yours out in advance first before you glue them on. Now, I want to seal them. I'm going to use the Rust-Oleum Matte Finish Sealer. I think this is an acrylic sealer. And I'm going to spray these so they don't attract any bugs or anything like that, and seal them, of course, making them not food safe. And again, it really brings out the sayings when you put that sealer on there. It really activates the ink. And then I dried mine, and we're going to go ahead and put this together. I printed this little Be Mine heart printable out on cardstock. You could also do it on regular paper. I don't think it would really matter on this project. I just like the stability of cardstock. It's really easy to work with. I designed mine to be a 4x4, and it's just about the right size. I just trimmed it up to fit the glass frame on this. This actually has a real glass frame on it. So these are really high quality for $1.25. They're wood, and they have the glass frame. Just pop everything back together. This was such an easy DIY to make, and I think it looks so cute for Valentine's Day. You could put this printable in there. You could put a picture of your husband, your boyfriend, your kid, your grandkid. I think this is so cute. And this would be such a fun way to get the little ones involved in crafting too. I think that they would really enjoy this DIY. And look at all the fun sayings on these. They're so cute. And they tasted really good. For the next DIY, I'm going to use these foam hearts from the Dollar Tree. I have 3 of them, and my original goal was to cover them with Dollar Tree spackle so I could give them more of the right sides to make them look more like a conversation heart because they're a little bit rounded. But do you ever have those times when you're at Dollar Tree and you go to multiple Dollar Trees and nobody has anything? Yeah, nobody had any spackle. So I had a really good Dollar Tree trip the other day where I was able to find the new jumbo stacked Easter eggs, all the things I wanted at one store, and I got to go home. And I guess I must have jinxed myself because this shopping trip, I had a list and I couldn't find anything at multiple stores. I guess that's what you get when you shop at Dollar Tree. But I'm going to paint them. I'm using a sponge stencil dauber to paint these. You could always use a brush. It doesn't really matter. I just want it to look chalky in one coat. I don't want it to be very bright. And again, I'm using my pastel colors like pink polish. I think that's lake blue. And I think this is sunbright yellow on the paint. Again, it can be any pastel colors. But what I want to do is make a conversation heart topiary. I wish I was able to find the spackle because I think I could have made these more the traditional shape. I was afraid to try to carve these because this kind of styrofoam doesn't seem to carve real well. But we're going to pretend that they're the right shape. It was actually a lot easier not having to use a spackle because I didn't have to shape it and wait for it to dry. But I think you get the conversation look that I was going for because we're going to put messages on them, make them look like conversation hearts. And I thought 3 pastel colors would look really pretty together. So I just painted the top and the bottom with 1 coat, just sponging them on. Whenever I work with like a project like this that's like rounded, I just really love using those little stencil daubers from the Dollar Tree to sponge on the paint. That way you don't get brush strokes and stuff like that. I think it just gives you a really good finish. So every time I see these at the Dollar Tree, I grab some of them because they're just great for crafting with. So you're going to be able to see the topiary from the front and the back. You could use this topiary outside. I don't know how well it would hold up. I'm going to use mine. I think I'm going to put it maybe in my front porch near my door if it is heavy enough to hold up out there. Otherwise, I might just put it in my entryway. For the messages, I just use my red Posca paint pen and I'm going to put Be Mine on there, trying to start in the middle so I can keep it kind of centered. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You could use Cricut vinyl if you wanted it to be perfect, but as you can see from those conversation hearts, they're not perfect at all. So don't be scared to use your own handwriting on these. Just try to keep it a very basic handwriting. On mine, I'm going to have Be Mine, Kiss Me, and then on this one, I thought I would have it say Love You. I thought that would be cute. And I'm going to put these together one on top of each other to make a little conversation heart topiary using a pod. Now, these are some of the 4-pack of the wood dowels from the Dollar Tree. Not quite long enough. I do like the thickness on these for this size project. So I'm going to have to use more than one. So for the first one, I just cut mine down. And I'm just using my miter scissors to cut it down a little bit so it won't interfere with the longer one that I need to use for the base. Now, poking the holes in these was challenging. I used some of these like cake decorating tools from the Dollar Tree that wanted to kind of break off inside there, but a pen or something like that to get a hole in there. The more you drill a hole in there, the better it's going to be because they're a little unpredictable. You'll see here in a minute being able to get these in here straight. But I was trying to poke a hole in the top and the bottom of this one because this is going to be my middle heart. And then I put it on there and tried to line it up as straight as I can and slowly guide the dowel through the middle of the styrofoam, having it come out of the bottom. Now, this one actually worked out pretty well. I took my time, slowly worked it up on there, and it doesn't have to come out the bottom, so that was actually easier. And you might want to do all of yours like that because I thought I could just use one of the longer dowels here on the bottom one, and I did have some issues with the bottom breaking off that you'll see here in a minute. I was able to salvage the project, so that's good. I just slid this on, but I needed to go all the way through. So that was a challenging part, getting it to go all the way through. You might want to cut smaller pieces or use smaller dowels. As you can see, I lost a chunk of the heart there at the bottom that just popped off when I put that all the way through because I guess the holes weren't lined up perfectly. But I'll be able to hide that in the bottom of my topiary, so no big deal. I just slide them all on there. I'm covering almost all of the dowel, and I will go in and decorate that part of the dowel later to make it look a little bit better. For the pot, I couldn't find any of the Dollar Tree little buckets that I liked, so I just picked up a plain silver bucket from the Dollar Tree and some of their window clings. Aren't these so cute? They're little conversation heart window clings. And I'm just going to use Mod Podge to attach one. I chose lavender just because it is a different color, but I probably should have picked a different one because it has Kiss Me on there, and I think I have Kiss Me on one of my hearts, but that's okay. I just use Mod Podge on there. It is covered in a little bit of glitter, which doesn't really go too well with my project, so I did seal it all over with a little bit more matte Mod Podge to take down some of that glow, but it works as a little pot here for the bottom of the topiary. And these little styrofoam pieces from the Dollar Tree fit perfect in these buckets to provide a base. And then I want to be able to stand the topiary up in it. Now, I did kind of go ahead and even off the bottom of that because I did have it cut a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of try to find a spot here in the center that I can put that down inside it. But then I remembered that I need to weigh it down. So I'm going to pop that back out and just use some Dollar Tree stones there for the bottom to weigh it down so it won't be top heavy. And then put it right down in there. I didn't cover the foam or anything like that because I want to use conversation hearts down there. And there's like a little bit of room between the lip of the pot and the foam, just enough room for some sweethearts. Kind of hard to see because this project's so big. But I'm just putting some sweethearts on the top of it, kind of like that until it is full and you can't see the foam. And then my camera didn't want to record there for a second, but I just tied a couple of pink bows with that soft pink ribbon that has the gold trim on it from the Dollar Tree. I think this looks so pretty for Valentine's Day. And again, I think this is Easter ribbon that I just got there the other day. And I just did one for each one of the dowels that you could see in between the hearts, making sure that the tails on these weren't so long that you weren't going to be able to read what they say. And it dressed it up, I think, a little bit. Let me show you how it turned out. Our little conversation heart topiary. It's a rather large piece. It's really pretty. They do have the metal conversation heart stackable from Dollar Tree Plus right now, I think for $5. That kind of gives you an equivalent feel to this, but I think that homemade always looks a little bit better. For the next Valentine's Day DIY, we're going to use some of this pink fuzzy fabric that I found at the Dollar Tree to make a conversation heart pillow. So it is 12 by 24 is the dimensions on the fabric. I thought I could use one of these 11.5-inch wood hearts from the Dollar Tree. It's a perfect size to give me a perfect heart here. I just turn it over inside out so I can draw on it. I use a Sharpie to sketch out a perfect heart. I'm going to do a really simple no-sew pillow and make it look like a conversation heart. I think this fabric is so pretty. And I don't think it'll fray or anything like that. It'll be easy to do a no-sew pillow. So I'm just going to cut that out right where I put the lines, making sure that I have like the bottom kind of lined up there. So it'll be a perfect heart. I've had to pause this recording a million times to keep coughing. I still am not recovered from whatever that crud was that I got on the cruise ship on our Christmas cruise. But I'm feeling better, but it's kind of hard to talk. Now for the letters, I'm using some of the little red felt adhesive letters from the Dollar Tree. They also have like a red felt love word that is all one word that would work well for this, but I wanted it to be like a traditional conversation heart with a message on there. So these are perfect. They're stickers, so all you have to do is peel off the backing, and they're a lot easier to find these little felt stickers at my Dollar Trees than the wood letters anyway, and they're the perfect color because they're red. So I just have mine say "Be Mine," and just working from the center out, I'm trying to center that little message on our conversation heart. And again, simple no-sew. My mother was a seamstress. I am not, so I am just going to do a hot glue method on this one. and it was really easy to put this together. I'm just going to do the top part first. So I did one corner here of the heart. I'm making sure to align everything up properly and lay that on there. And you really only get one chance on this because that hot glue is going to stick on there. So make sure you take it kind of step by step like this so you can get it lined up properly. And I'm going to go around here. This is going to be a little decorative pillow for my hall tree and my entryway. I think it'll be really cute. And I love this fabric. I have it like in a goldish yellow that I've used a lot for my bead DIYs. I think I might have it in black as well now, but I thought this pink would be perfect for Valentine's Day. I glue all the way around except I left a small pocket down here at the bottom, and I'm just going to fill it in with some polyfill. Did you know that Dollar Tree has polyfill? If you're lucky enough to find it, you can get it there. Otherwise, you could always use an old pillow. I used to do that a lot before Dollar Tree got theirs in. But I'm just going to fill it in. I want it to be nice and fluffy, but not too fluffy. It's not a super large pillow. And then I'm just going to glue this final lip on. I found that if any hot glue seeped out, it was really easy to trim it up, or if any like fuzz was sticking out, but this fabric did not fray at all by having just raw edges on it. So it actually worked out really well for this project. I'm just going to go around and try to cut off any areas of fuzz or anywhere that you might be able to see some hot glue from our no-sew. But I think it turned out really cute. What do you guys think? Little Be Mine, and with those red felt stickers, you could have it say anything you wanted. You could even have it say some non-Valentine's Day messages if you're not in the mood for the sweet stuff. You could have it say go away if you wanted to. So here it is. Mine says Be Mine. You can also decorate both sides if you wanted like a two-sided pillow. That would be really cute too and really easy to do. But it's a nice size pillow. I think it's going to look really cute here on my entryway. Okay, you've made it all the way to the final reveal. I'm going to show you again how all 29 of these Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs turned out. I hope you enjoyed today's Valentine's Day crafting marathon. Be sure to check out my other channel, Crafty Little Beach, and let me know down in the comments below which DIY today was your favorite. Enjoy the final reveal.
Nothing ever felt as good or as easy as when we were young. Though I felt misunderstood, it was a pleasure running away with you. We were just children acting like a doll, crazy, naive, bold and carefree. We were kids having kids, crazy, naive. It amazes me that we didn't fall apart harder than we did. Now they keep us on speaking terms. We grow and we learn. I have no regrets, only forgets. Oh, a big thank you to life for giving us sand. Oh, when the timing's right, there's no wasteland. Oh, we were just children acting like adults, crazy, naive, bold and carefree. We were kids having kids, crazy, naive. It amazes me that we didn't fall apart harder than we did. we didn't fall apart harder than we did. I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on. I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I watch you as you sleep. You don't know I'm looking. With you everything's complete. Do you know how much I love you? I put your favorite song on just to wake you up. When I dance around, I can't help but feeling, I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? I was at the wrong place at the right time. 'Cause suddenly there you were with those bright blue eyes. We were conversing under the night sky. When you took my hand, said let's leave now. Don't wanna be shy. I will let my guard down. Don't wanna be shy. I will let my guard down. I wanna laugh out loud. Talk a little deeper. Kiss a little harder. I wanna laugh out loud. Talk a little deeper. Kiss a little harder. Love a little louder. Love a little louder. We went to a small bar with neon lights. Talked about everything that was on our minds. Talking to you gave me butterflies. Then you took my hand, said let's leave now. be shy. I will let my guard down. Don't wanna be shy. Shy, I will let my guard down. I wanna laugh out loud, talk a little deeper, kiss a little harder.
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of today's video. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to all of my YouTube members for supporting my channel. Thank you to Karen O'Haron, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Tracy Knight, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Donna Schreiner, Live Another Day, Marin Christensen, Adrian Brolt, Debbie Middleton, Red Mama, and Donna Tanner. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you would like to become a Crafty Beach Bum member, all you have to do is hit the join button next to today's video. You're going to get early ad-free access to my content, loyalty badges next to your comments, and a shout out in each video. It's $4.99 a month, and you're free to cancel at any time. Would you like more Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs? Be sure to check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting!